Hi, and welcome to this quick little wrap-up video after comparing the equations of two lines on a graph. So what I have here is I'm just going to go through what you should have seen when you've compared your two equations on a graph. You can see I have a graph here, and I've got one equation, 4x plus 1, and that one is actually my purple line over here. And I have another equation which is 2x plus 5, and that's this green line here on the graph as well. So you can see that I've got both lines on the same grid, and that's going to be really handy because I want to compare them, and when I'm comparing things it's always easier to do that when they're on the same graph. So a couple of things that we should know by now is obviously I have two different multipliers. For the first equation, the purple one, it's 4x, and for the green one I've got 2x. So the purple line obviously has a steeper slope because it grows faster. It grows 4 vertical places for every one that I move on the x-axis, and the green one grows 2 vertical or y coordinates for every one that I move on the x-axis. So what I'm going to show you right now is what the comparison is. So in this area in this area between 0 and this mark right here, 2, you'll see that the green line is actually physically above the purple line. And because it's above, that means it's got a higher value. Now something interesting happens right here where they meet, is that actually changes, and you'll see that the purple line actually has a value greater than the green line. And that's important when we start talking about comparing things like costs of items. So if we were comparing the same company that we were going to buy tires from, maybe they charge different prices per tire, but then they have an install fee. And by doing this, we can actually see at what point does it become more advantageous to purchase tires from one company or another. Same goes for purchasing uniforms and things like that. So this does have a real-life application. Now what's really interesting is this point where they cross. And at this point where they actually meet, they're actually both of the same value. There's not one equation that's got a higher value than the other. And we can mathematically figure out that point. But in this case, if I look at my grid, it does appear that I can go and I can count my x spaces. So in this case, when my x is equal to 2, I know that they're both going to have the exact same value, and that value is actually going to be 9. And if I did the math on that, 4 times 2 is 8 plus 1 is 9. 2 times 2 is 4 plus 5 is 9. So that does make sense that that's the same position. And that's comparing two line equations on a graph.